here we go with her decisive evidence, supposedly. I should have mentioned these 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other was the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's blood. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. So she has a fucking shoe? What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. What a nice shoe. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why, this is the first time I've heard of this evidence. Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Huh? Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You can at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. Well, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. The victim's shoe has been added to the court record. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Alright, I'm going to have to push her on everything, but I want to look at the shoe first. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Alright, hold on. I want to look at the shoe. Rotate it, look at this blood here. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Alright. That's the shoe. Wait a minute. There's a little blood underneath it, too. Ah, there's blood here, too. On the sole of the shoe, it's got to be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood, it's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. I think it... Well, wait a minute. Blood on his shoe, and he stepped in it. That means there had to be blood all over the ground, right? But there's no blood on the ground in this photo. Look, there's no blood. What the hell? So this is now making absolutely no sense at all. There's blood on her coat. There's blood all over this guy's shoe, but there's no blood on the ground in this photo. What really happened here? This is all screwed up. Oh, I'm getting fucking confused. Alright, let's push her on everything. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known to us prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it? False testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch who snuck off with a shoe, I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe is my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunch boxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. So you brought it to the forensics department? If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Makes sense. After all, a man was stabbed here. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman? As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other was the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's blood. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the victim with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, Rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was performed in cold blood. What? That was lame. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, if you combine all the various blood tests, there are millions of types. It's practically impossible to narrow a blood sample down to one person. Or so I hear. Millions of types? If I had a little more time, I could have gotten a DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Sky. So wait a minute, she just did a basic blood test. She didn't do a DNA test. So all she knows is there's 2 types of blood. She doesn't know that it belongs to Lana Sky. Okay. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. Ugh, what's that? The peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole batch of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? We do have a problem. There's blood underneath the shoe. There's a problem. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, Rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is the contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with the evidence. I'm going to show you. It's the bottom. This right here. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, Rookie, or it'll be blood on the bottom of my shoe. It'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. I read that wrong. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of the shoe? I'm going to show him the crime photo. Where, look, there's no blood on the ground. Yeah, okay. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found at the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. If there were bloody footprints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Ooh, Order. Well, witness? What, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr! I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. So that's why she kicked over the oil drum, maybe to wash the footprints? I guess that's a possibility.